Hey, what's up, Cosmetic family?
Welcome to the Cosmetic Podcast at World Council.
Hey, Cosmetic means being a person or thing that gives rise to a phenomenon that's dynamic or energizing.
We're tackling topics and telling the truth.
And I'm Keith Benson.
And I'm Rodrigo Ross.
And so today, we have the one and only Miss Brianna Brown. This the title today.
Come on, say it. Come on, say it.
Future Phenom.
You better come on. For the future. For the future.
But she really is today.
Well, she really is.
Because see, we can talk about all this future stuff. Future sounds like sometimes so far away, but this young lady is about to kind of break things up. Talk to us a little bit about your project that you got going on.
Yes, welcome to the Cosmetic Podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited. So I started Liberated Zine back in March of 2021.
For Keith, you got to tell her what zine.
Right. You got to keep up with the lingo.
You got to keep.
I understand what zine.
Somebody must have told you all.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Zen. When you.
That's not this. Oh my gosh, that is not. She didn't say zen.
Well,
she said zine.
Clearly, you got to tell us a little bit more about this
Zine.
thing because I'm maybe a step behind.
Of course.
Just one.
Go ahead, please.
So zine is short for magazine, but this is more of a creative take on the news that you would read in the world. It's just more for creatives who want to express themselves and share their stories.
I love that. Okay. I'm a creative.
You creative.
I am a creative.
Creative.
I think like I'm a poet or something.
You definitely have a lot of words to say, like a poet.
Whatever. What inspired you, Brianna, to start this zine?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Y. I heard someone use the term Y brat the other day, so I think that is what I am.
You're a brat.
Yep.
Okay.
So growing up in the Y, you know, the values of honesty, respect, and everything that it stands for with mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
You know, I've just always felt the need that there's something big out there and there's always a need for change. And the world right now is just, it's really sad to just put it out there. Like there's so much happening and there's not a lot of progress. Actually, I feel like we're going backwards now. And I wanted to create something that would amplify, you know, the issues that are going on in the world with mental health, with body image, diversity, education. So I started this zine because I wanted to connect with people around the world and just hear their stories. There's so many different creators out there who are sharing these important topics, but they're not being amplified enough because, you know, many people of color, Black people who are creators, they don't get the same recognition as, you know, white creators or anyone else who's creating something online. So I wanted to use this as a channel for them to really showcase what they're doing.
Oh, I love that. I love. So what are the ways that people are, what is the content they create? And is it music? Is it the written word? Is it dance? Like, how are they creating and getting their stories out?
Yeah, so I found a lot of people through TikTok, Instagram, people that I just know in my community. One of my favorite pieces was actually someone who wrote about music and how a lot of, you know, R&B, jazz, the Black music, Black musical creators, they have a huge impact on today's music, which many people seem to always forget that. They always forget it. So they wrote an article about that, and then they created a playlist for us on Spotify, actually, that's curated with a bunch of diverse singers, musicians, everyone. So they, it's called Set the Record Straight because we want to show people that, you know, the music.
The playlist or?
The playlist is called Liberated Playlist.
Liberated Playlist.
I can, I'll send you the link to it. You can share it with everyone.
We will check it out for sure.
I like that. Set the record straight. You see what they did there, right? Record, you get it?
Yeah.
You had records back in the day, didn't you?
Of course I did.
Of course you did. The vinyl ones, and you had to put a nickel on the needle so it wouldn't.
And they used to tell me about 8-tracks. You
don't start with me. Don't start with me.
I do remember records, but I'm sure you remember 8-tracks. You know what an 8-track is?
I'm used to the plug-in, the earphones.
Yeah. Well, you plugged it in. You put this big. It's about this big. And then you had a little console to keep. Yeah, but
it's amazing.
We digress a little. She can catch up with her culture later on. So what is the big thing that you hope to grab from all of this? I mean, you have a very creative platform. You're reaching out to different people. But at the end of the day, like, what's the big thing for you?
So for me, when I think of liberated, you're freeing yourself, of course. That's the meaning of liberated. And our tagline is the new way to think. So I want people to free their way of thinking. There's so many people who have such a narrow way of thinking.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's not it, or I'm not gonna go with this. And it's like, well, why don't you take a step back and just hear their story or read their story and see if it changes your thoughts a little bit. You know, if you're connecting with real people, you can hear who they are, what they've been through, and then you can kind of see like, okay, like now my idea on this subject is a little different because I can see how it's impacting someone.
Yeah.
So that's what my main goal is. It's educating through creativity.
Oh, love
And
it,
I love this
it,
idea
love
of
it, love
liberated,
it.
right? Like just allowing people or encouraging people to be liberated and be free, and just, you don't have to think like everyone else. You don't have to create the same content. Do what feels wonderful for you.
Yes.
I love that. So how'd you come up with the name? Like, did you get help? Was that all a Brianna thing? Like, how'd you come up with this liberated name?
Yeah, so one day, you know, I was thinking like, there's something I want to do. I was finishing up my master's and I was like, there has to be more than just going out and working. Like, I want to do something.
Tell me. I wanted that too.
Yeah, I've been at that thing for quite some time right now.
Yeah, you've been at it for a while.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you
that's a long time.
That's okay. That's okay.
So you think about this work thing, and now you like in this workspace. Like, what's gonna be different about your workspace that is gonna be so freeing?
That's
so,
gonna be
so
liberated.
Yeah. So I think. Can you repeat the question?
No, yeah. So you're thinking about liberation, entering into this adult space, because you've already had an experience where you work for an organization and it was like, good Lord, they just took 5 years off of my life, and now you're about to enter into a whole another workspace from the entrepreneurial side of things, as well as your kind of regular nine to five. So like, what is it? What's going to be liberating for you in this workspace, this adult world? And everything?
Okay. I think for me, I'm the type of person that needs to see the progress. So like, I want to see the impact that I'm making with Liberated, and I can see it through, you know, everyone that's interacting. They'll message me, they'll say, this article is so inspiring, or I think I want to do this now after reading the article in Liberated. So for me, I want to see the impact that I can make. And you know, you can do that through the YMCA, through different jobs here. The job I was at, I couldn't see that. And it was really, it's tough when you can't see that impact that you're making on the community or the world, you know? So I think for me, it's important to, it's gonna sound cliche, but you really gotta do something you love. And you have to find your passion with it. Just because, you know, if you're gonna work, you gotta find why you're doing it. You know, you're not living just to work, or you're not working. What's the saying? You're not working to live.
You're living to. I get it.
We understand
I get
what you're saying.
I know what you're saying.
I mean, but to your point though, you know, we just joking about kind of being in the workspace for so long. Like, I'm working in my calling. And so therefore, my worst day is better than people's best days who are out there doing transactional work. Every day I get to come into the office and do transformational work. And so, I'm in this space and I'm loving it because I get to sit and talk to great young people like you. And by the way, can you save me a job? Because like, I know you're going to be somebody's CEO one day. Like,
make him go through the interview process. Not me, just him.
Hook a brother up.
We're gonna come work for Liberated, the zine.
That would be, that's one of my biggest goals someday, is to expand it. Because right now it's just me I do all the ordering, printing, finances, social media. It's a lot, reaching out to people. So for me, I would love to see it expand into something more, and maybe eventually get some sort of like other media types like YouTube or even a podcast of our own, something like that, just to, you know, liberate the world through everything.
I'm excited to, especially that creative space, because creatives really do give you the opportunity to look at a different perspective in such an innovative way, right? Like sometimes we just get locked into read a story, you know, read a this. But what if you hear about this new thing through music or through movement or whatever medium they decide to use? Like the fact that someone is creating a space where folks who think differently can still get their story across. That's what really excites me.
We're providing that platform for so many folks right there. So, I mean, we're gonna have people. You know, we're here at the YMCA World Council, and Great that we ran into you, to be able to bring you onto the podcast, to be able to do this. And so this is going to be heard from thousands of people literally across the world. I mean, and so what can they, where can they find you?
Yep.
Because we want to make sure that people reach out to you. And if they, just want to be a part, what do they need to do just to be a part of the movement that you are about to create?
Yeah, so if they are interested in following us, right now we're only on Instagram and TikTok. So it's @get and then _liberated.
Okay.
And then if they want to email us, it's wegetliberated@gmail.com. But if they just go to the Instagram, everything is linked there as well. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I work whichever way is easiest for them. Because I've worked with people in Germany and England. This was all back at home in New York. I've already reached out to them. So I would love to get more international voices involved with the magazine. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love how small social media makes the world. Right. Oh, that's amazing. Well, I see nothing but amazing things for you, Brianna. And you're also a delegate here at World Council. So tell us a tiny bit about that. What is it like being a delegate? Like, you're real fancy.
I know,
I'm not a delegate.
Like we were trying to like I've been in the game for a minute.
He been in the game,
you just come in and just like you become a delegate. Like, how fancy are you?
It's a really great privilege, I will say.
Yeah.
Just because so many people, when they hear the Y, they think of like a gym or a community center. They don't know how big the Y is and how many countries it's actually in, and the changes that we can do in the world. So to be able to vote on this during the World Council is such a big deal, and I'm just honored to be a part of it because it's a small group of people. I know.
Yeah.
So small group of people, you get to vote. Talk about voting, and as you talk about this liberated space right now that you're about in. I mean, how important it is for young people in having a vote, whether that's from the YMCA perspective, whether that's from the political perspective. I mean, it's a voice. So like, what's the importance of your voice in voting?
It's really important, and I think what we need to do is everyone, they vote in the presidential elections for the U.S. and that's of course important, but you need to look at your local officers who are running. You need to research what they're doing for your community because that's where you can make the most change when you're starting. It's nice to think big, but you have to be realistic at some points and think, okay, well, like right now in Albany, New York, what can I do to help the world? And it may seem like it's not helping the world, but it's going to have like a domino effect where eventually it will come out and it can go into other states, other countries. So you really need to just stay up to date and research it. Don't be one of those people who are like, oh, that doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to worry. If you're one of those people, then you don't care. You don't care about society, and you have to change your outlook. You have to get liberated.
You gotta get liberated. You see what she did there, right?
I like it.
Well, thank you again, Brianna, for being on the Cosmetic Podcast at World Council. This has been excellent. I'm so excited we got a chance to talk to you and talk about Liberated the Zine.
Yes.
I knew what Zine was.
I know what it is now. Thank you for
not Zen. Not Zen.
Hey, look, Cosmetic family, thank you guys for listening to us at Cosmetic at World Council Podcast.
Yes, on this episode called Future Phenom.
Hey, look, subscribe to and listen to us weekly.
And don't be shy, hit us with that 5-star review.
And as always,
be dynamic,
be phenomenal,
be
Cosmetic.